Om Vishwam Darpan Drishyamana Nagari Tulyannijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivod Bhutan Yatha Nidraya Yasakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Svatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prangnirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakalakalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrumbhayatyapi Maha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Bande Guru Parampara Om. So discussing the cause of any emotion, we have taken in for discussion here anger. The nature of emotion, we have already determined it is reaction, not an action. Very nice question yesterday. Perhaps I might not have clarified that a reaction doesn't have free will and therefore should not produce karmaphala. Very, very brilliant. Nice, thanks whoever has asked this question. But yes, free will is there. It is overpowered. Free will is given to you to use it judiciously. Any freedom is given, like freedom to vote. That is freedom which is given to you, choice is given to you, you have to use judiciously. If you don't use it, you incur papam, that is the law, which is called law of dharma, results into law of karma, etc. Anyway, so there is a free will. So you should have used it keeping a structure of right and wrong, which we generally call as a conscience. Conscience is nothing but this, a voice which comes out from within. Oh, this is a right thing you are doing. Oh, this is a wrong thing you are doing. In everyone's heart. And therefore it is a manifestation of Ishvara because it is universal. So nature of emotion, nature of anger, it is reaction. The cause also we have seen. Cause ultimately we say desire, but then the real culprit is ragadvesha. Raga also is a love, understand? And love also is a love. I mean, attachment and love has a big difference. So let me talk to you first about this raga dvesha, because our Shivamji yesterday pointed, Swamiji, he wants to know what is binding desire. So binding means it's a bondage. A desire which binds you for its fulfillment. Desire binds through what? Through likes and dislikes. Actually, likes and dislikes want it to be fulfilled. A like means an attachment. And we know, I talked also yesterday, you develop an attachment for a given thing you repeatedly dwell upon it. And when you dwell, you have a certain understanding about yourself. A understanding which is, of course, a notion in terms of Vedanta, but there is an understanding that basically I am a very limited being. I'm a small person. Small or limited in terms of security. I'm insecure. And everyone has an experience of fullness, happiness. But other than those moments, you yourself take to be a very limited being, having a lack. And so you seek a certain objects which can give you a sense of fullness, happiness. So you have a desire for certain objects, looking upon them as a source of security. Certain objects, you look upon them as a source of joy, happiness. Actually, there is no object. It is it is a common sense. There is no object called security. In world, in Costco's and everywhere, thousands, billions of things are available, but there is no object called security. It's all myth. There is no object called peace. There is no object called happiness. Neither happiness is an object, neither happiness is an attribute of an object, neither happiness is a particular place, neither happiness is a particular time, even though there is a happy hour, which ultimately results into unhappiness. Yeah. The whole world is covered. Space, time, objects, and its attributes. It's all myth. Therefore, a attachment to a given object for security or joy, an aversion for the objects which threatens your security, your existence, which becomes an obstruction for your joy. Aversion, it is simply a projection of the mind. Simply projection. There is no reality in that. Yeah. The day you come across an object called happiness, please, we will leave this. Why should all sadhan chatushtaya? Nothing works. Yeah. Therefore, it has to be taken care of. More you are having all this, more you live in your own world. But Swamiji, it's good. We should live. There is a metaverse and all now. So more the objectivity, more relaxation, more joy. Yeah. One has to take care of them. And so this attachment is nothing but a emotional leaning, emotional dependence, which is not the case with the love. Basically, in this attachment, there is a selfish attitude, naturally. I want to derive a security, joy, even at the cost of sometimes, at the cost of the other person, other object. I want to derive. Love is not like that. Then, attachment is always in the form of this taking. Love is always in the form of giving. So, attachment is always a conditional love. That's how we lose. It's a condition. I love you because you are a source of security for me. I love you because you are a source of joy for me. And since it is a fancy, it changes. object of attachment today becomes an object of aversion tomorrow. If there is a reality, then it won't change. There is no reality, it's simply your projection. And so as long as I'm comfortable, well, I hold on to that. Love is unconditional. There is a total acceptance of the person. I am not taking here object, person. That's better with the love. So there is a total acceptance of the person. It's unconditional. That is how when there is a love, you make the person comfortable. When there is an attachment, you suffocate the person. Just because I love you, why are you? I tell you to sit down. So it's something like that. So you suffocate the person. In your presence, a person becomes comfortable every day. You should understand it's a love. Because the person is accepted unconditionally. Person opens up also. I don't want to go into that. And anyway, so attachment is generally born of a weak mind. We have already seen it also. And which is empty, of course, which is not happy with oneself, etc. And so that's how it depends upon external factors for satisfaction. Whereas love is born of strength. To accept a person, you need a strength. Accommodation requires a strength. And so love is born of strength and fullness. In attachment, of course, we discussed yesterday, intellect is covered. Your wisdom is covered. It's not functioning. And so that is how, when there is attachment, there is always a sacrifice of dharma also, because the wisdom is covered already. Anyway, so he violates dharma. Whereas in love, you don't. Because your wisdom is there with you. Anyway, in fact, the very acceptance of the person is a dharma. Accommodation of person itself is a dharma. So anyway, so this is the difference. And so attachment and aversion now we understand. And a desire to acquire the object which I love, I have attachment to, definitely becomes a binding desire now. Because your security, your happiness lies in that. If it becomes unfulfilled, leads to anger for the obstruction. And we saw yesterday, and a verse, of course I did not mention, but I also yesterday talked without mentioning about those two verses of the Sthita Prajna section. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha buddhinashat pranashyati. So we discussed that only. I did not mention it. But the other verse which I mentioned is Trividham Narakassedam Dvaram Nashanam Atmanah, which I find was more suitable for the discussion because there is a other thing. Bhagavan says this is the Dvaram, this Trividham Dvaram. Threefold gates are there for Naraka, for the experience of pain. So, and we are discussing anger. Of course, it is like this kama and lobha. The krodha is in between. So they call it as a maxim of a pair of tongues. You have no pair of tongues. Between the pair of tongues, you hold a certain thing. In Gujarat, they call, I think, sanasi. So in Sanskritam, it is called samdamshaha. So this kama krodhas tatha lobha. So the krodha is something which is a result of kama, the binding desire, or could be the result of lobha. The krodha is held in between that pair of tongues of kama and lobha. And atmanaha nashanam. One destroys oneself, we discussed yesterday, because you are not fit for any purushartha. Once you become impulsive, you are as good as an animal. An animal doesn't have any purushartha. Animal doesn't have any purushartha. So this is called a nashanam of destroying oneself. So regarding lobha, I have to discuss few things, how it leads to anger, etc. But before that, let us complete these consequences of this particular emotion. That is also one of the factors which we have to discuss. And that is, this krodha, all the levels, at a physical level, at a mental level, mental health also is affected, at a social level also, everywhere it is destroying you. And of course, once a person is angry, they say it affects, say, physical health a lot. Increase the blood pressure and increase anxiety, increase a risk of heart disease also. And they say it weakens our immune system also. It also creates a disruption in a digestive system, creates an ulcer. And frequent anger, of course, increases naturally a stress level, affecting overall mental health. And this unresolved anger can contribute to feeling of depression and hopelessness. These are not for us. We are just counting. Why, Swamiji, you are telling to us? I'm not telling to anyone. We are just discussing the overall consequences of anger. And it impairs our decision making, etc. We discussed also. And the other things are, at a social level, anger can strain relationship with family, friends, and colleagues, etc., leading to conflicts, misunderstanding. It can also affect at a personal level your productivity, your performance also in a work, etc. People lose job also. People get demotion instead of promotion due to the anger. Anyway, an uncontrolled anger, of course, results in a very aggressive behavior, creating a very legal issues. Anger is the most, is the root of violent crimes. And, it damages. Children sometimes don't understand why parents are angry. Really, with their small mind, they are not able to understand. Creating a core issue because the person is formed in the first 4.5 years. That is how I was saying in the morning as a background. Much of our behavior sometimes comes from our childhood, maybe our past also, but that is there. Anyway, so it naturally anger causes a lot of harm to us, to others. That's how one Mahatma, I really got it from, he gave example that it's like a matchstick, which burns itself out even as it burns something else. So anger also will first burn its place of origin and then burn everything on its path. And therefore, these are the consequences. Now, in terms of cause, we discussed most of the things, but from the lobha, how does this arise? I was to discuss this. Lobha also give rise to anger, but before that, I would like to discuss what is lobha. Lobha is also basically a binding desire which for its fulfillment even sacrifices dharma. Just a binding desire, which requires a fulfillment we call kama. But a binding desire for its fulfillment, when you cross a limit of dharma also, we employ illegitimate means in order to fulfill that binding desire. We call it as a lobha. But Swamiji, why a person crosses that limit? Because the very root of the lobha is insecurity. Insecurity is the cause. And due to insecurity, one wants to hold on. One wants to grab more and more possessions. Because there is a wrong equation in the mind that if I acquire more, I become secure or I become more secure, let us say. I become more secure. A wrong equation in the mind. In our mind, this is the equation. More I acquire, I become more secure. The day never comes. When you acquire whatever you want to acquire, we will be discussing, whatever you want to acquire, I am secure that it never happens. Never happens. So this is the one meaning of lobha called greed. Grabbing more. Due to that insecurity. In order to get rid of the sense of insecurity centered on I. Really speaking, I am not interested in securities. Honestly, I am telling you. Just because I can't get rid of this a sense of insecurity centered on I continue to grab so-called securities possession. That's how Pujya Swami used to say, you are seeking ultimately in order to gain a freedom from the seeking. Or freedom from being a seeker. Therefore, you are really not interested in seeking certain things, securities or whatever. You want to get rid of the very sense of seeking. You want a freedom from seeking. You are seeking for the sake of gaining freedom from seeking. That's how it is. It's an amazing thing. This is called Purushartha Viveka, the very first thing, the very first step in Vedanta. The Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti begins with Viveka is the most important thing. Our whole commitment to this teaching and this study and etc. lies there. Purushartha Viveka. Really I am interested in artha, securities, or really I am interested in the freedom from insecurity. Moksha. That's the thing. Most of the people think I am interested in securities, not understanding that I want to get rid of the sense of insecurity centered on I. And that is why people keep seeking. More you seek the securities, more you remain in the process of seeking. It never comes to an end. Never. Till the death. You keep seeking. Bhagavan gives another birth. Yeah. The Purushartha Viveka is very important. What do I want between these two Purusharthas? Is Artha is really Purushartha or Moksha is really Purushartha? Anyway, so this is one meaning of word Lobha, greed, grabbing more and more because of that. The other meaning of Lobha is miserliness, where whatever you have grabbed, you wanted to hold on to. You want to hold on to that. That's how one person gave a definition of Lobha is, well, get more, give less. Yeah. That's the definition. Get more, give less. Whatever you have, you want it to hold on to. Because if you want to, because they are the sources of security, you have emotional leaning on them. And more the moment you start giving, you again feel insecure. And therefore you want it to hold on to. So both the things are there. The greed and miserliness. Addition of both is called Lobha. And how greed leads to anger. Now you can understand very well that when someone is well driven with this greed, then often will have a high expectation for acquiring more wealth, power, possessions, etc. And if these expectations are not met, well, there is a frustration and disappointment quickly turns into anger. That's the first. The second is in terms of miserliness also, it is same. So greed can create, Lobha can create a strong attachment to, well, material possession or even status. And the fear of losing what one has accumulated leads to anxiety and anger, especially if the threat is a perceived threat. Yeah. Then definitely leads to anger. And third is, a greedy person may constantly compare himself or herself with others and striving to have more. And this competitive mindset can lead to envy and resentment towards those who have more, resulting into anger. The fourth is the very ethical conflict, because I told you it compromises with the value structure. And therefore, definitely there is a conflict within. Inner conflict is already there. So greed can push this individual to cut corners, so to fulfill them, and this internal conflict between the action, his action, and his moral structure can lead to guilt and can lead self-directed anger. And the very fifth cause also is there, by which the greed turns to anger. And that is a strain in relationship also. So greed can strain the relationship, or it often leads to a very selfish behavior naturally, and neglect of others' needs, etc. And this strain can also cause conflicts and anger within personal and professional relationships. So this is how this lobha also results into an anger. And and as I told you, every person looks upon this money as a source of security, etc. And when you look upon money as a source of security, naturally, in order to get rid of this insecurity, you want it to grab more and more. So we have a greed for money, basically. But whatever one gains in terms of money, one never becomes a secure person. So the insecure me, who wanted to become secure, does not really become secure by addition of what I consider as securities. So no one can say I am secure with all possible possessions, etc., securities. So as long as definitely you require crutches, money, possession, or other possessions, status, whatever, power, you're all looked upon as a source of security. So as long as you require crutches, the sense of insecurity centered on oneself will remain. Yeah. As long as suppose a person has got a leg injury, and as long as he requires crutches, so with the crutches he feels secure, not he is secure. Understand this. He feels secure with the crutches. The moment somebody takes away the crutches, yeah. So basically, feeling secure because you have crutches does not mean you are secure. So you feel secure only because of the crutches, whereas the sense of insecurity centered on I continues. So this is, in order to get rid of lobha, I am giving a solution. Money is good. One should earn money. Even one should, in fact, one should earn more money. But money will give me security. That equation should go. That's it. Gaining, but then one should become secure. That's there. That's there. But there is no object in the world which is called security, which I should acquire, which I should grab more and more, will make me secure one day. That's a wrong equation. In fact, the money has its objective value. You superimpose some extra value on that which it doesn't have. In fact, money requires security. Money cannot make you secure. Money requires security. You have to manage your own money. Yeah. If you go out, you have to put it in some place if money is a source of security, you will not have to worry about money, at least. Money has to worry about your security, but you worry about that. So the insecurity plus another insecurity. Any object in the world is time-bound, insecure. Any object. any object, maybe inert thing, maybe a person. It's all time bound. Leaning emotionally for your security, will not help. Insecurity plus insecurity never becomes security. It's a double insecurity. In fact, you hold on to that and that holds on you. Pujya Swamiji used to give an example of that person who was taking bath on the bank of some river which has a flow of water also was very much, the current was very fast, and he slipped into that and he swept away along with current. And he did not know swimming, so he immediately shouted, "Oh God, please help me." And by the time a log came, so he thought, see, look at the God, he just helped me. So he held on to that log. Then he found there is a fur on that. And then there are hands also. Still he was, saying thanks to God. But then he found that log now is tightly holding on to this person. He found later that it was a grizzly bear who also fell from the tree and also swept away by the current. Now who holds on whom? Yeah, this is what is happening. Any habit also is like this. A habit of drink or habit of any habit, we feel I have a hold over that. Actually, a habit has a hold over us. So inert things have a hold on you. Think about another person on whom you have emotional leanings, security, etc. Some person said, well, addition of securities cannot help you to make secure. Then subtraction. Give away everything in order to, because they are all insecurities. So give away. Then you become secure. The poor thing is by addition or subtraction. It doesn't have it cannot give you what it doesn't have. Every object is time bound, limited in time, is insecure. Nothing can give you this security. And therefore grabbing more and more for security, which is called greed, one has to think over. Then definitely that reduces. If loga is taken care of, definitely krodha also is automatically taken care of. And now, we have to understand now from the standpoint of a kama, how to make the binding desires non-binding. At least I have a desire to fulfill, and I will do an action for that to fulfill, depending upon my likes and dislikes, fine. But if I'm not able to fulfill, then it should not lead to anger. What should we do? All Shastra is this way. Nothing of mine, frankly speaking. So we are in now solution stage, and the solution is a certain attitude behind the result of an action. You have to change that attitude, which was, earlier it was a different attitude. If you cannot fulfill the desire, well, there will be anger. You consider yourself, you have a disappointment, helplessness. You may say yourself as a failure also, because you did not get expected result, etc. It will save from all this, also will save you from the hold of likes and dislikes, attachment and aversion. So, well, and that attitude Bhagavan discusses in the second chapter as a part of Karma Yoga, and that is called sameness of the mind, samatvam. Samatvam yoga uchyate. We should discuss a little bit. So, well, depending upon, in order to fulfill my likes and dislikes, well, definitely I undertake an action, and then I definitely expect a result. Now, any one of the following can be the result of an action. The result will be in accordance to your expectation. The result will be more than what you expected. The result will be less than what you expected. The result will be contrary to your expectation. I will give you an example. Like I have a stomach problem. I don't have this example actually. Immediately. So stomach problem, I am taking a tablet. Action. It's an action. And well, the result should be what? 4. Simple action. 4 openings. First is the stomach problem goes away, as expected. The medicine cured not only the stomach problem, even my knee pain also is gone. It is a painkiller. The stomach pain was there, think that way. Swamiji, this is not true. Think. Our doctors would definitely say Swami is really a liar. But anyway, think that way. Knee pain has gone, more than expected. Third is the pain is somewhat reduced, but not gone completely, less than expected. The fourth is you discover that, well, you are allergic to this particular medicine taken by you, and now your whole stomach is ulcerated. It happens. Many painkillers, I don't want to go in. Many painkillers definitely triggers acidic this one anyway. So for any undertaking, why we have an undertaking? In order to fulfill a desire. What type of a desire? A binding desire. A desire which is prompted by likes and dislikes. We want to take care of it so that it doesn't result, it doesn't get deflected towards an anger. Please understand, that's what I'm discussing. So, for any undertaking, these 4 kinds of results are possible. So, when you understand, when you undertake something, we should be prepared. Very objective. We should be prepared for any one of these 4 results. If I am prepared, I am called emotionally mature person. Generally, no one is ready for this. Everyone grows physically just by jumping around and eating food. One day you have a mustache and you are ready for shave. But the emotional maturity doesn't come along with that. You have to initiate this. It's based on free will. You have done action and the results comes to you. So it's basically purely on your attitude. If you start becoming an objective that yes, all 4 possibilities are there, it's a fact, then you are initiating the maturity, emotional maturity. So anyway, and but why we are helpless in this situation? Why we all the time we don't get expected result? Very simple. We are not omniscient, not an omnipotent. Well, we are of knowledge, skills, power, everything is limited. And therefore we can't accomplish everything we want for want of knowledge. Sometimes you have a knowledge, for want of power you don't get it. Yeah. Sometimes you know that this karma will, this action will produce that result, but you cannot avoid it. Like a person who is he has climbed the tree, and suppose he jumps, he does this action. He knows he will fall down and it will hurt also. He knows, but he cannot avoid it. Suppose if he falls, he cannot avoid it because there is no power he doesn't have a power of not getting hurt, etc. So anyway, still we undertake these various actions because we have these likes and dislikes to which we wish to fulfill, and these undertakings will produce any of these 4 kinds of results. And that's how Bhagavan says, well, you should have a sameness. Sameness, Bhagavan said, sameness of what Bhagavan did not mention. So we have to figure out sameness for what? Sameness of desire which is a prompting factor for the action? No. Desire cannot be the same. Desires are different. Well, sameness of the action. Well, actions also are not same. Actions also differ. Then, well, what does this sameness mean? Sameness of desire is not possible. Sameness of result is not possible. Result also cannot be the same. Even for the same action, result differs. Same action. All our, mothers and all, they cook in the home every day. They may be making chapati and dal daily, suppose. Still you find it differs. Taste, etc. The result will be always differ. So same action also does not produce same result. Therefore, result cannot be the same. Action cannot be the same. Desire cannot be the same. Even for Bhagavan also action is not same. He does, he creates, he sustains, he dissolves, all different actions. Actions are different, desires are different, results are different. Very sameness. Sameness is just only an attitude towards the result of an action. That's the only place. So, the result is desirable when it is in keeping with my expectation or more than expectation. And the result is undesirable if it is less than or what I expected, or less than what I expected, or contrary to what I expected. So, sameness towards a desirable and undesirable results is called samatvam. That's called samatvam. That's a attitude. So there is nothing special actually in being a yogi, karma yogi, etc. It is expected out of everyone. When one is born, one has to grow also, and this is the situation in your undertakings. So anyway, and so you can perform an action as you feel proper, but having performed an action, well, definitely one doesn't have as a choice. That's what Bhagavan said even in this 47th verse, before that. You do not determine the result. You do not have choice over the result. Not totally it is true. You cannot be the determining factor for the result. I would say that way. Because when you say you don't have a choice over result, people always talk about the pessimism, etc., and no. So basically you are not a determining factor you are a determining factor for your action, not a determining factor for the result of an action. Because there is another determining factor. Your contribution can help towards determining the result, of course. If your action is not there, then result is not going to be produced. You are a contributory factor towards determining the result, but you are not the determining factor for the result of an action. And well, you can take this example. This is a flower. If I release this flower, it's an action. It's in my hand to release the flower. But once I release, then it falls down. Well, that is not determined by me. It's determined by the certain condition available here on this earth. And that's a law. Law of gravitation determines the result of an action, that it falls down. Whether to release or not, it's in my hand. But once it is released, it gets dropped due to a certain law obtains here. Suppose it is in a spaceship. You release a flower, well, because of a zero gravity, etc., it may not fall down. It may go sideways, perhaps. I have seen objects move sideways. Yeah. So basically the result which is determined by a law which is not created by a human being. Then one person said very beautifully, like you people were asking yesterday the question, one person asked me, Swamiji, even dropping, you have lifted the hand and you release, means you make loose your fingers also. All this is your law? I said, no, it is not my law. So why don't you say there also it is all laws are determined even in act. Laws determine even action also. Why laws determine just result of an action? Laws determine even action itself. You should not say yourself as an author of an action. No. I should say I am an author of an action in as much as there is a free will on my part. Therefore, I will consider myself as a performer of action. Because that is in my hand, whether to drop it or not, whether to release it or not. It's in my hand. So the karmas basically are done, it's in your hand. Karmani eva tava adhikaraha ma phaleshu. Well, definitely the result of an action cannot be determined by you. It is determined by the laws obtained in the creation. Well, it's a part of the creation. Part of the creation which is created, well, by Ishvara, which is non-separate from the Ishvara. So Ishvara brings it down, we should say. The flower, who brings it down? Ishvara brings it down. Anyway, and so he shapes the result, etc. And therefore we take it as a, since it comes from the Ishvara, we take it as a Prasada. It's a certain gratitude. And so that is the maturity. You look upon Ishvara as a karma phaladata. But whenever this is said, always a question comes in a satsang. And the question is like this. Swami, if I accept everything like as a prasada, all the situations now, then definitely will I not become passive, submissive person? Nice question. So, well, the answer is a counter question actually. That if you don't accept the result as a prasada, well, then how will you accept it? If the result is not accepted cheerfully, well, you will accept it with a regret, because all the time you are not going to gain a result which is expected or more than expected. Naturally, other two possibilities are also there. In that case, you will accept the result with a disappointment if you don't accept cheerfully. And therefore, well, with a sense of failure, you will accept. So it's wrong to think that one becomes submissive by accepting the situation as a prasada. In fact, you become more dynamic, well, only if you accept the result as a prasada. Because in that case, you will be able to accept the result as it is and proceed. Person becomes a wiser by the attitude of prasada. And they give a very beautiful example. Suppose, because you people are there, suppose your friend gets married and you have been given a duty of assignment of welcoming the guest in reception. And it's a wedding reception. Your friend is married and getting married. And you are definitely standing at the entrance and you are welcoming the people, etc. And they come into this reception hall and you receive all the guests generally with the smile. And you give a smile to those to whom you are acquainted also. And even if you are not acquainted, you still give a welcome with the same smile, etc. But then now comes a person, suppose, who has turned into your enemy because of a fight last year, suppose. Then how will you treat him? Naturally, you remember that you are at present representing your friend, and so your own likes and dislikes, personal likes and dislikes, for that person you keep it aside. And you also welcome that same person with a smile. So you somehow work out smile. Naturally, you don't work out smile. And receive the person. So anyway, so that shows, this is called a sameness of the mind. You welcome whatever comes to your life, keeping aside likes and dislikes. This is how you slowly become free from the hold of likes and dislikes. Likes and dislikes will never go. Even in a jnani, they are there. Never. Because ultimately, likes, dislikes, all are ultimately impressions of the experiences born of several janmas. Mind becomes totally free from likes and dislikes? No. In a Karma Yogi, the person becomes free from the hold of likes and dislikes. For a Jnani, it becomes mithya. It's just mithya. Therefore, it cannot hold the person. Any mithya thing cannot hold. So it's a different. But so basically, we feel that people always equate like this. Swamiji, I have lots of likes and dislikes, and therefore I don't think I am fit for this knowledge, that, etc. You should be free from hold of. That is what we call a non-binding desire. A desire which is born of likes and dislikes, yet it doesn't bind. They don't bind you. That's fine. So this sameness of attitude ultimately makes you free from the hold of likes and dislikes. And then when desire is not fulfilled, yet you will not become angry. So this is one of the solution of getting rid of anger. Now the second solution I wanted to talk is in terms of we have understood this this anger as a reaction, right? And reaction means over which I don't have a sanction. Reaction also is in terms of thoughts, but they are not in my control, or they are the thoughts of which I am not aware of. No anger is without thinking. We should understand, no emotion is without thinking. Everything is a result of thinking. But then thinking are of two types. You see, the job of the mind is to generate thoughts continuously. Continuously they generate thoughts. During a waking state also it continues to generate thoughts. In a dream also they continue to generate thoughts. Even Vidyaranya mentions in Panchadashi that in a deep sleep state also there are thoughts. They're called avidya vritti, which we don't want to go into that. I just want to point out that basically mind continuously generates thoughts. And these thoughts are broadly divided into two types of thoughts. One is which we call, which are voluntarily entertained by me. Like when I'm planning something, I'm planning to visit a particular place, then I am definitely, deliberately initiating the thinking and planning. Or when I'm trying to solve a certain problem, I initiate a thinking. It's a deliberate thinking called voluntary thinking. Very good, because that's the purpose of the mind. So, definitely, so all the thoughts are deliberately, willfully generated. We call voluntary thoughts. And the second type of thoughts, we can guess now, when we don't engage ourselves deliberately in any thinking, but since the mind continuously generates thoughts, now the thoughts are called involuntary thoughts. These involuntary thoughts has a basis in our likes and dislikes. As you become free, your mind will automatically go to the object of attachment or object of hatred, aversion. They're involuntary thoughts. Like even breathing are of two types. Right now you people are listening to me, right? And you are not at all aware of your own breathing. It means if you are not aware of it, is not, then you cannot say. The fact is we all are alive. Means but this is an involuntary breathing. But then there is a voluntary breathing also, deliberate breathing. You inhale for some time, deliberate breathing. You retain for some time, in deliberate breathing. You exhale in a certain time, deliberate breathing. Pranayama is a voluntary breathing. And other than that, it's an involuntary breathing. Same way, thoughts are also of two types. Voluntary, involuntary. These involuntary thoughts means which are not deliberate, which I have not willfully generated. They are mechanical in nature. And those thoughts has a basis in our likes and dislikes. And therefore, those involuntary thoughts generally results into emotional disturbance. Like, in fact, it happens so that even if you start thinking voluntarily, you generate a certain thought, it becomes mechanical later. Like, I give you example. Suppose you are sitting in a room, in your chair, and nowadays you listen that person is getting layoff, So suppose the person thinks, what happens if I lose a job? You want to think about it. You have generated voluntary. But afterwards, my God, fear, and then there is something else, and then there is something else, which you don't want, but now it's not under your control. Involuntary thinking generally results into all emotional disturbances because it has a basis in your likes and dislikes. How to get freedom from that? That is what we will discuss tomorrow morning. And all solutions are there. And solution is a meditation. Meditation with a japa. Mental chant will make you free from mechanical thinking. The mode of the mind becomes from mechanical to the conscious. We'll discuss that mechanism of the mind tomorrow. And also a small other solution also is there, which I will mention also tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
My pranams to Swamiji and all the Mahatmas whose monumental work in teaching Vedanta and also their outreach programs helped many seekers to be in the path of this knowledge. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for your contribution. I thank you all in this patron camp, first camp. I thank you all profusely for your contribution towards this ashram. Your contributions means a lot to us, and this ashram runs on donations. And thank you so much for walking with us for many years. You might have been, some of you have been with us from long time, from the time of Puja Swamiji. And my name is Indira. I'm in charge of the GFT, patron membership, puja of the temples, and other department. I'm very thankful for this support from you all. And I just want to give you a brief explanation about what we do with your donations. So this Gurukula is run on the donations generated from the funds for our daily expenses. The operational expenses are met from donations from the esteemed board members and all the donors like you, especially the patron donors. And how is this done? The donors of the ashram donate either $500 as a gift for a day, with which we do meet the expenses of all through the day, like all the annadanams, maintenance, utilities, all these things are met from your donations for one day. 4 such gift for a day will make you a patron donor. And your donations are very, very valuable because our sustenance depends on patron donations. These are actually, people donate them either as a one lot, $2,000, or 4 quarters, $500, or monthly, $167, depending on on your facility and your convenience. You people donate us, and many are there who are listening online also. It is my request that you continue to donate to us for the sustenance of this ashram. And you all know that this ashram is the only one that is from January to December. It is disseminating this knowledge on Vedanta. There are not just Vedanta, that there are many allied sciences like Ayurveda, Jyotisha, Sanskrit, Yoga. All these things are promoted, organized, and funded by you people. Thank you so much. And I request you all to continue this support to us. And also, if you have not renewed your patron donation this year, I request you to kindly come to the office and do it. And there is one more thing. If you have changed your address, if you have not given your phone number, or if you have changed your phone number, email ID, or any change to our communication to you, kindly come and make the changes with us also. So you receive this continuous communication from us. And then there are also capital donations done, and general donations also make a huge donations come as general donations also. That is how we run this ashram. And this ashram now stands tall in the entire world with the knowledge that it promotes. So many Mahatmas come visit, and they also, outreach programs are done. So all these things are possible. So please continue your donations to us and your support, continuous support and contribution to us. We launched our souvenir on 18th of this month when we celebrated our 38th anniversary. We request you to come and collect your copy from the office. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Please keep coming. Keep visiting us frequently and connect with us. Thank you so much. Have a great day.